We're now joined by Victor Giwa, who is a lawyer and an election monitor. Good to see you, Victor, and thanks for your time. The back and forth, the NBA. Let's start off with the NBA statement where Alpha Musigwe, senior advocate of Nigeria, has spoken, telling the police that this is an abdication of your duties should you go ahead to run from your duty post.
Yeah, thank you very much. Firstly, I want to commend the president of Nigeria Bar Association. His statement is apt, timely, and of course, commendable. It goes without saying that the duty of the police under the Police Act Section 4, Section 8, Section 10 of the Police Act, and Section 215 of the Constitution, it is the duty of the police to provide, to protect life and property. So in as much as we are in the society, in the system, it is the statutory duty of police to provide security. As a matter of fact, the police are not to be involved in the electoral process. They are to protect this environment, the system, to make sure that there is law and order. So the statement made by the NBA president is timely and is commendable and is proper.
Two issues when it comes to legality. Help us understand exactly which law guides the conduct of local government elections. Is there any ambiguity around it that the state governors and all other interested parties may be, taking advantage of the loopholes to go ahead with, what they want to do, especially in the case of Rivers State? Which law guides the local government election? Where does it stand side by side, the Constitution and, of course, the electoral law?
Thank you very much. Firstly, I must say, that if any citizen of Nigeria should be embarrassed by what is happening in Nigeria, if you are a citizen of this country, wherever you are, by what is happening right now, especially in Giwa State, you should put your head down. It is embarrassing. It's an abuse of institution. It is appalling. It is something that should not even happen at all. We have seen enough of the decimation and degrading of our institutions, such as the police, such as INEC, and all of that. But let me go straight to your question. The first part to the question is this. Section 7, subsection 1 of the Constitution says that the local government system shall by a democratically elected government under the Constitution is guaranteed. First, that the local government is guaranteed and it should be by a democratically elected government. It now goes further to say that accordingly, now that goes to your question, accordingly, the government of every state, shall subject to Section 8 of the Constitution ensure the existence under a law for the establishment, structure, composition, finance, and function of the local government council. Therefore, it is the government of a state that has the business of conducting the affairs of a local government. And it is the state law and not the federal law that guides and directs the conduct of the local government as stated in Section 7, subsection 1 of the 1999 Constitution. And the word used is shall. The government of every state shall. The government of every state, the state government shall ensure that there's a local government council, a democratically elected government, and that is what the Constitution says.
So in this case, now we're talking about still on laws. Can the court, is there a law giving, can the court bar the conduct of an election?
Well, of course, if you look at the Electoral Act, I think your colleague there tried to put that question to one of the guests. No, the court, even under the Electoral Act, the Electoral Act was talking, I think, under Section 84, that when there are issues about primaries, whether candidates have been, properly elected through the primaries, nobody should go to court, to stop the court from, stop election from proceeding, during the context of primaries. However, and following that, there should be no law that should stop a constitutional provision, especially, not just Section 7 sub 1 that has given the power to conduct election. The Supreme Court recently has given a go-ahead that election to the local government council should become, that is the highest law of the land, highest court of the land. He has given a directive from the federal government. The case was instituted by the Attorney General of the Federation, and the Supreme Court gave a time limit within which to conduct the local government election. So no other court can give any law, can give any order to undermine the provision of the Constitution and the Supreme Court order.
And in spite of the Supreme Court ruling on the local government autonomy or election for that matter, you still have a situation where High Court judges, seem to be undermining the ruling of the Supreme Court. I wonder what is at play here. And secondly, when a court says the police should not, in this case the Federal High Court Abuja ruled that the police should not provide protection during the October 5 election, that's tomorrow, in Rivers State, does it bar other security apparatus like NCDC and what have you, other security bodies from providing security for the election?
Firstly, I don't want to believe that if a court for that a federal high court for that matter would give such order that the Nigerian police force should not provide security, because that would be an express disobedience, express violation, brazen violation of the provision of the Constitution and the provision of the Police Act. That is one. Then two, in answering your question, if the order is made specifically to the Nigerian police force, it does not bar other security agencies like you have mentioned, the Nigeria Civil Defense, the DSS, the NIA, the Nigeria Custom, because if you look at, I just observed the Edo State election and we saw all other security agencies that were deployed. We saw the military, we saw the EFCC, we saw the immigration, we saw the NDLEA, we saw also all the security agencies were there. So if I don't want to concede that the Federal High Court made such order, but if it did make such order, other security agencies can do it. Maybe what the Federal High Court was saying is that they should not get themselves involved, but not that they should not provide their statutory duty or protecting lives and property for the people of Rivers State.
So if it goes south on D-Day, which is tomorrow, in terms of protection of lives and property, is the IG liable?
I am, like I said, it's really unfortunate, it's sad, it's bad for this country if we are getting to the point where we will start discussing about our institutions like the Nigerian police force. I know the IG is somebody that knows the law, is somebody that has good, educationally, is a PhD holder. And apart from that, is somebody who has, so for somebody to have risen to that point to be the Inspector General of Police, I know he knows what to do. And I'm appealing very forcefully that the Inspector General of Police should discharge his duties, should make sure and ensure that the Nigerian police force in Rivers State discharge their duties and responsibilities under the Constitution and ensure that there is order and peace as the state conducts their local government election. And I know that the IG will not want to be held liable for any breach of public peace as regards to the election on Saturday.
Right, before we let you go very quickly, I mean, this whole situation in Rivers State has been described as an immoral display or the use of power. How do you think this really should be resolved in the best interest, of course, of Rivers State?
Yeah, I think firstly, I will appeal to all the stakeholders. I will appeal to the governor of Rivers State, Governor Fubara. I will appeal to the former governor of Rivers State, Wilson Wike, who is a lawyer. The proper thing to do in solving this debacle is to allow the election to go on. Firstly, because it is the duty and the responsibility of the state governor to conduct this election. He has come with his programs, with the state electoral body. The state court has also given its go-ahead to that election. If you have any issue with the process, you can challenge the legality of the process. You can challenge. We saw cases where Lagos State challenged the activities of a federal government to the Supreme Court. So it is the duty of the state government to conduct this election. So if anybody has any issue with the process, the proper thing to do is to go to court. But for now, all parties should allow the process to go ahead. Be calm. If you have any grievance, you can challenge this process. And that is why the court is to correct executive recklessness, if there is any. So the court is there to look at the executive. That is where there's what we call checks and balances. When the executive deviates or veers from the law or violates the law, you take it to the court, and the court looks at the activities of the executive vis-a-vis the law and tell you whether or not whether the state executive have acted recklessly.
Right.
So it is in the best interest of Nigerians for us to allow the electoral process to go ahead and ensure that there is peace and order in Rivers State.
Thank you so much, Victor Giwa. Well, go to court remains the refrain. Thank you for joining us. Victor Giwa is a lawyer and election monitor.